This Shareef Aleem KGNU, keeping it true just for you. Beating my feet up against the concrete. I'm out here talking to brothers and sisters on the street about Donald Trump. As you know, Donald Trump that made racist comments, homophobic comments, anti-immigrant comments and actions against the disabled. And he's really running a fascist campaign, in my opinion. But I want to go on the streets and see what these young brothers and sisters think about this. Brother, check this out.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know, man, how do you feel about Donald Trump?
I honestly feel like Donald Trump is one of the biggest jokes in America. Simple based upon how our Constitution was started from our founding fathers. We are all immigrants here on this island right now. We're all immigrants here on this land. So to even speak upon not even letting other people come to America when Europeans shouldn't be in America, I mean, that's just one stated fact. And then I'm just a black man standing on a corner, and I already know it's just all politicians and all politics are all evil. It's just they don't deserve it. We should just stand up for ourselves and really find us some new leadership. And Donald Trump is not that guy.
Right on.
Well, I don't know what my views are, but all I know is that I heard he was running for president, and I still think it's a joke. I can't take it seriously yet.
How do you feel about his rhetoric, the things that he says? Like about banning Muslims?
That's the whole thing I'm talking about. Like, I thought it was a joke. Like when he's like making fun of people with disabilities, the way he's talking about other people, like that's just nothing I can take seriously, honestly.
Why do you think he's so popular with the American people?
Because he's already popular. He was already a built iconic figure that people already hated. A guy that represented money and greed and power, you know?
Right on. Right on. So, man, what's the solution, you think, for people coming together in this country? Is it politics? Is it religion? What do you think it is? Is it music?
Yeah, music's way better than coming together than religion. I was thinking about that the other day, you know. Religion, that just starts a whole bunch of stuff among people, you know. Like, even my buddy's dad the other day was like, hey, football, sports on Sunday, you know, that's replaced religion, and that's for the better, you know. People can come together more about sports than they can battling about religion. But with Donald Trump, you know, I mean, you just think of what a human does, you know. All humans have hearts, they have souls, they have mind. You know what the right thing to do is. A lot of the things that he's saying, that's coming out of his mouth that he's planning, that's not the right thing to do, you know. It's like, people got to use their minds, their hearts, you know, like making fun of someone with disabilities, you know, like talking about Muslims the way he does, you know. Those are people. You can't categorize a whole section of people just based off of like what you heard in stereotypes, you know. It's fucked up in a lot of ways.
Right on.
So, can you sing us a song?
Yeah, what kind do you want to hear?
Whatever your best one.
Oh, I got many, but not now. Maybe some other time. You'll catch me
You
around
don't gotta
here.
do a whole song. Just do like 5-6 seconds of it.
5-6 seconds. Well, I've been beat up bad and I've been kicked around. I've been thrown out of every damn bar in this old town. In this old town. I guess you don't like the way we like to have our fun, 'cause I'm always out there and I'm on the run. Yeah, I'm running and a gunning and a looking for a damn good time. I done so much trip I can't look you in the eye. You know I was trying to find that ultimate high, and I was running around with my boy named David Allen Cole. Well, he was running real hard and we was running real fast, and we got caught up there on the pass, and he took him all to the other side of the road. I said, I've been beat up bad, I've been kicked around, I've been thrown out of every damn bar in this old town. In this old town. I guess you don't like the way we like to have our fun, 'cause I'm always out there and I'm on the run. Yeah, I'm running and a gunning and a looking for a damn good time.
Thank you.
I think Donald Trump is a businessman that's failing at business. So if he can't even handle his own business, how's he going to handle the country?
If Donald Trump get elected, I'm waving that gun around on these motherfuckers, man. Do not let Trump run my country, okay? Hey, let me tell you why.
Tell me again what you gonna do if you become president.
I'm gonna get old enough to vote, and then I'm gonna sign that petition to get his ass out of my office. We don't need a burnt president in the United States. We don't need and old. We need something new, you know. We need our Obamas. We don't need any more Trumps. We need our Obamas. So do me a favor and advocate for the people who are against Mr. Trump, because I don't support Mr. Trump. I don't.
Right on. How old are you?
16.
Right on. And so, I mean, at 16, you know what he's saying, right? You know he's saying he don't want Muslims in the country. He don't want Mexicans.
No Mexicans, no Asians. That's like, what, 75% of our country? No, you're not going to send a whole race of people back to where they came from for what? For why? Because you want to run some shit? And it to be what? All one color? That don't make no fucking sense. Where are you gonna get all your voters from? You kick everybody back out of our country, who's gonna vote for you next year?
Right.
I don't have no problem with colored people. I don't have no problem with Asians or Mexicans or Indians or Muslims. People who have a right to be here. You can't kick niggas out of their own house. Nigga, come push me out my own fucking house and see if I'll leave. See if I bust that ass on the way out first. I'm Donald Trump bashing.
Right on. With questions on tape, on camera. It's real simple. How you feel about Donald Trump?
He's a fucking pirate. He's a stupid ass. I don't like him. He's a racist piece of shit.
Do you think that he's trying to divide America or make America
I
better?
think he's just trying to make himself look cool, and he don't look cool at all.
Right on.
He's gonna go to hell.
Right on. My name is Brother Shareef. I don't mean to bother you or nothing, but we out here like shooting a documentary, and I'm asking people how they feel about Donald Trump, and I just wanted to know if y'all like to be part of it. No?
No.
All right, thank you. So,
I'm gonna be on TV.
Okay, y'all ready?
tell me, what do you think about Donald Trump?
I think he's a good businessman. I think that he is, he's made money, he's lost money. I think in some ways he might be good for our country, the business aspect of it, but the rest of it I'm not sure.
What about like the things he say about banning Muslims or kicking Mexicans out the country?
I think if you're illegal, you need to get legal, because I can't take my kids down here to the river and throw a fishing pole in without getting a ticket. You break the law, you break the law.
So you think Donald Trump would be good at like restoring the law, good for America's economy?
I think he'd be good for the economy. I don't necessarily know if his tactics for the law would work. Because there's one moment, baby. There's too many illegal aliens already over here that we've allowed over here for years and years. You can't make all of them leave, but they should be documented. There should be benefits for everyone. As far as the Muslims go, I think that anyone coming from Syria, Iraq, Iran, someplace like that, there needs to be like some serious background checks done. If they have anything to do with ISIS or Al-Qaeda.
What about the ban?
The
He's
ban?
like banning. He's like America should ban all Muslims.
I do not think that anyone should be banned from our country, because we were built on a melting pot. That's what America is. We fleed the other countries to get rid of, the religious prosecution. So we should be open for them, but there should be more strenuous security checks and background checks, because I don't want to have to worry about getting on the bus with my kids and that bus blowing up.
What do your kids think?
I think he would be a good president, thinking of the choices we have, but I think we could have a better president, because some people can't really think well. But currently we have Hillary Clinton, we have Bernie, and we have Trump, and I think Trump is the best candidate that we have, because we all are not perfect, but we gotta look at what we've got and who's the best that we currently got, and Trump's the best because he can at least make America not go down any more than it already is. You know what I'm saying?
Wouldn't you you're very politically astute. How old are you?
I'm 13 years old, but I think about a whole bunch of logical things, and I'm actually working on a Final Freddy's theory about what's inside the chest and why it's not actually what we should be thinking about. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I think critically.
You might be the next Hillary Clinton one day.
Well, let's say president. Let's not say Hillary Clinton.
I'll be the next, like.
So we'll see.
Right on. Thank you. Thank you. That was really good. I'm doing some stuff for the TV down there.
That's great.
And I want to ask you your opinion about Donald Trump and what he says about banning Muslims.
It's ridiculous.
Especially from Syria, because you're from Syria.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, man. You can't be doing that. I mean, it's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional. On what basis? On what grounds? Couple crazy guys? I mean, if that's the case, then I mean, every guy who steals, we got to start banging up all of them. You know what I mean? I mean, what the hell?
Let me ask you, and we've talked about this in private, but hold up, bro. Hey, we talked about this before. That what's the situation in Syria right now?
So the situation is, people are under sanctions, and so because of those sanctions, people aren't able to survive. So on top of the bombardment of bombs and killing and weapons, people aren't able to eat. There's no food, there's no shelter anymore. Everything's being destroyed, and so everyone's leaving the country based off of that fact. And so had they had at least some stability, like in Iraq when the United States came in, there was a little bit of stability, a little bit. Syria has no stability whatsoever, absolutely no stability. Had there been just a little bit, people wouldn't be leaving.
So what is the fractions over there? Because Russia's over there now and they're bombing.
Yes.
The United States is bombing.
Right.
France is bombing.
Right.
Everybody's bombing somebody, but
They're bombing the wrong people.
They're
bombing the wrong people.
That's what I'm talking about.
They're bombing the wrong people. They're saying they're bombing ISIS. They're not bombing ISIS. They're bombing civilians. And it's hard to tell who's ISIS and who isn't ISIS. You know what I mean? Because of that. I mean, a lot of ISIS members aren't Syrian at all, by any means. Most of them.
Where do you think ISIS gets its training from, and the weapons and the artillery?
There's speculation that a lot of the weapons come from, Wahhabi thinking, people who are from like Al Qaeda and like organized, like the United States even, or like Assad. Because I mean, Russia is known for selling weapons, so it's an arms deals kind of issue. You know what I mean? Halliburton, stuff like that. These companies who, I mean, they even have a whole bunch of Toyotas, brand new Toyotas, that were bought by a third party to ISIS. I know that was actually an issue also.
Right.
A whole bunch of Toyotas.
And they say that ISIS, they bootleg oil, they take oil and
yes, and they sell it because of the sanctions again, because of the sanctions that's on Syria.
But I mean, I think it would be easy for the United States to find out who was buying oil or sanction the countries that are buying the oil.
Yeah, but it's true. But unfortunately, no one wants to get involved with Assad because the one that's protecting him is Russia. Russia's protecting Assad to the bone. And now, unfortunately, because Russia's decided to get involved, militarily, it becomes even harder for the United States to get rid of Assad because now you have military action supporting Assad.
What's the solution over there as a part of the Free Syrian movement? Mm-hmm. What is the ultimate solution? Is it political?
Yes.
Is it people sitting down and talking, or is
partly?
It
yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix because people are always going to want to shoot. People are always going to want to use weapons, but partly political and partly militarily. Because if you get rid of Assad, you'll get rid of ISIS immediately. ISIS has no premise to be in Syria. ISIS was Daesh in Iraq in 2006. That's where they come from. So ISIS has no premise to being in Syria at all. They have no reason to be.
So ISIS is in Syria fighting Assad.
Yes. That's the whole reason.
The Free Syrian Army is fighting Assad.
And yes, exactly.
And then Assad has forces that are fighting
both. Yeah.
And
both.
America's bombing Assad's forces. And
they're bombing ISIS. They're not bombing Assad. If they got rid of Assad, they'd be done. The story would be over.
Okay, so America is bombing ISIS, which
with
is
France,
fighting
with France,
the guy
with
that
Russia.
they don't want in there.
Right, but Russia obviously, they say they're claiming this, but they're not actually bombing them. They're bombing civilians. Russia as a whole, Russia doesn't care about ISIS. Russia cares about Assad. Russia cares about Assad. And if Assad stays in power, then they have their base in Syria. But if they get, and so the United States and France, their goal is to get rid of ISIS. But Russia's job is to keep Assad, but get rid of the Free Syrian Army. Because if you keep Assad and get rid of the Free Syrian Army, then it's easy to get out of ISIS. It's easy to get ISIS out of there because they're just another gang. It's easy to get them out of there. But
what do you say for people that say that if you get rid of Assad over there, it's going to turn into a failed state like Iraq, like Libya, with just
it's reasonable.
warlords?
It's a reasonable idea. It's a reasonable idea, but you have to understand the history behind it. Iraq is different than Syria, and Iraq is different than Afghanistan. Afghanistan has, for a long time, had history of turmoil in their country and government. Since the Soviet Union, for a very long time, since Bush Senior, they've always had this situation. They've always had this problem. Iraq has always had a segregated religious problem, constantly, with the Shia and the Sunni. That's always been a case. And so they've never really had nationalism. They've never really had because there's Christians and Jews also. So you can't have a religious groups put together when they're segregated. They've never been together.
That Syria is a more secular country.
They are, but it's the majority are Muslim, and the majority of them are Sunni Muslim, and so even though they're moderate Muslims, they're more about nationality. They're more about I'm an American. It doesn't matter who I am or what I'm from or my religion or whatever I am. It's all about I'm a citizen of this country. That's all. That they've been able to build that, and that's actually what's made Syria, the population, strong. Though they have so many different factions, they have Armenians, you have Kurds, you have Jews, you have Christians. They've always been able to keep together because they're all Syrian. They're not I'm a Christian, you're a Shia, you're a Sunni. Like they've done in Iraq, like it's happened in Afghanistan. So,
right on, bro.
It's always a pleasure, brother.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much.